Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Nerd of the Third Power, your one-stop shop for all things nerdy and awesome. I am your host and master of ceremonies, Dr. Gonzo. With me, as always, in this epic quest of awesomeness is our resident anime goddess, the Cat. Cat, how you doing this week?
I'm okay. I might have broken my foot.
Again?
But it's okay. Yeah. I stubbed my toe on my bed frame really hard the other day, and I felt my soul actually leave my body as I wept. Tears of suffering, and I think the toe's okay, but it kind of hurts a lot further down in my foot. Yeah. Kill me, please.
So you broke your foot by stubbing your toe. I can only draw two conclusions from this. Either your feet are made of graham cracker, or you got a running start before you broke your toe and just tried to field goal kick your bed.
Well, I don't do anything half-assed, so, anime taught me that, big, everything has to go big or go home, Well, I was home when I did it, so, go big or just fizzle out. Yeah. I will find out in the next couple of days if I broke my foot. I'm gonna go to the doctor. I really hope it's not, but I think at best case scenario, I just hit my foot really hard where I had already fractured it in the past. And that's why it hurts so much. Worst case scenario, I've got a fracture.
Okay. Well, we wish you a speedy recovery, and we hope that you won't be laid up, because it's not like we can really spare anybody else right now.
Oh no. Well, you know what? If I get laid up, at least I'll be, chilling somewhere. It's just my foot again.
Meanwhile, it'll just be me here in the studio all alone. So it's like, okay, well, I can't really discuss anything with anybody. So here's a list of recipes from a cookbook that I want to try. So you're number one.
It'll be like a filibuster.
Yeah.
Welcome to Filibuster, the podcast.
Be like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. I'll just start reading names out of a phone book.
That'd be great.
Maybe for our April Fool's episode.
Oh my god. Yes.
But you're here tonight, which is a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and do a show, as is our wont. And we're going to begin the show, as always, with the random topic of the week. And so, Kat, the question that I want to put to you this week is this. Okay, we've all heard the old salt that, if a person has a positive experience, that, they'll tell one person. If they have a negative experience with a business, they'll tell 10 people. So the question I want to put forward is, have you ever had a negative experience that made you want to keep, patronizing a business? Now, I'll tell you where this came from. People who were listening last week know that I've started to get back into the retro game collecting, and I've been hitting the eBay a lot, and I've been doing most of my business through PayPal because it's just easier for me to keep track of my bookkeeping that way. Well, a couple weeks ago, I discovered in my checking account a charge that I hadn't made, and it was a charge through a PayPal account to the tune of about $177. And I was like, I don't remember buying that complete in-box copy of Stadium Events, so I should probably find out what this is. So, of course, your normal reaction to see something like this is, you get pissed off, you get off like a firebrand, like, if they don't help me, I'm going to burn the whole thing to the ground. But I called up PayPal support, told them what I'd found, and they were like, okay, you know what? Yeah, here's the charge. You're right. This isn't you. We're going to cancel this out and get you your money back. And then 3 days later, I had the missing money back. And I was like, wow, yeah, this is a really shit thing that shouldn't have happened. But you know what? They were so cool about getting it resolved and getting it fixed that, I'm even more inclined than before to keep doing business through them. So the question now I want to put forth, have you ever had a negative experience with a business or a store or what have you, where at the end of it you were like, wow, they were totally cool about this whole thing, and I want to keep going here even more, and I'm going to recommend this place to even more people than I was before?
I can't really think of one. I'm sure I have a story kind of similar to that, but I can't think of one. I need to rack my brain. Because usually if I have like a bad experience with something, I chalk it up to like somebody had a bad day, you know, or like, you know, one person's a bad person, but that doesn't mean that the whole company is bad or that business is terrible or something like that.
You just look at it just like an aberration.
Yeah, I guess there's like a Checkers nearby or a Rally's, little fast food joint nearby that I love Checkers, man. I have such a soft spot in my heart for terrible fast food, and I love their fries, and I always get a ton of coupons for them. And I've, you know, like I went there one time, and it was obviously the girl at the counter's first day, not at the counter, at the drive-thru. It was her very first day, and she was having a terrible day, and she really was really struggling. And I was like, man, this poor girl, she's having a shitty time. We'll come back, you know, and you know, come back again, even though, you know, it took forever for us to get our food. Come back and not hold it against her. Well, it turns out that place really is just shitty. Worst drive-through I've ever been through, consistently. But like, I don't blame her for it. And I, you know, like, we gave it a couple of chances. But that's completely not what you're talking about. It's just the first story that came to mind.
No, but you know, you tell me that, and I get kind of whistle because, like, you know, my heart goes out to people in food service because, you know, I've been there. I worked that for like 6 years.
I know.
So it's like, you know, now that I've left that, it's like, yeah, I'm never going back. But like, you know, if I try and, you know, be generous to service people. It's like, you know, they're just trying to make rent, and I know how rough that is. And oh my God, if you ever want to see me just like completely lose it, let me catch you giving a server hell that they don't deserve. I go to an Olive Garden near the office every week on Monday for my lunch break. This is the one lunch break I get. And the last time I was there were these two middle-aged guys, and they were just giving their waitress like complete hell. And this poor girl, like 16 as she was a day, she's just like ready to go into tears, and they're just screaming at her in the middle of the store. And I'm just like, I'm trying not to kill somebody, but like, yeah, that's a major berserk button for me. It's like, if I catch you giving a server hell they don't deserve, you're gonna feel my tap on your shoulder and my whisper in your ear, hey, when's the last time you tasted your own blood, you thirsty bitch?
I would pay so much money to see you actually do that and not just say you're gonna do it. But knowing you would. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I can't stand when people treat service people like shit. Because we've been there. Like, I never worked fast food, but I've, you know, survived on tips before. And my roommate consistently tips at 15%. Like, the bare minimum of what you can tip. And on the one hand, I'm like, it's good that you give anything at all. But then I kind of feel like, well, that was the least you could do for this person who is surviving off of the tips that they earn. So I always end up over tipping by a lot to compensate for my roommate who I go out to eat with all the time. Oh, it drives me nuts. And my mom, like, if anything doesn't go her way, she gets a little haughty. And I'm always like, calm down, woman. They're doing their best, okay? That is all any of us can do in life, is our best. And people who are in service fields have the worst jobs. They deal with the worst human beings in the world. Like, I have been asked to, when I worked at Best Buy, to go, like, cover customer service, and I would refuse because I don't have what it takes to get screamed at all day by asshole people, like entitled bastards.
There's not enough alcohol in the world to drink that much hate away.
Right. Like, I would be in tears the whole time. I don't have what that like, I just don't have that in me to deal with that sort of thing. The person who I admire most in the world, maybe not most, but I admire her a great deal, is my older cousin Linny. She in the past and maybe fairly recently, she works with mentally disabled adults for a living, like taking care of people and stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, I would be dead on the inside. Like, I'd have to like cut my heart out in order to have that job. And she has such warmth and like such humanity, and I'd just be a puddle of tears. Like, there's like so much strength that it takes to deal with people. And like, oh my God, Lenny has so much strength, and I have none of that. So I totally admire people who have to deal with helping others all the time. Like IT desks and help desks and like whoever helped you figure out your PayPal problem. Like, it feels really, really good when you help other people out, but that isn't always enough to make it worth your time when you're getting yelled at and screamed at and people are blaming you for all of their problems all day, every day as a career. Whew, that's rough. So I totally admire people who
Oh, sorry.
I totally admire people who are those problem solvers.
And that kind of loops back into the original topic, which is like, I've had times where I've bought something and, you get kind of irritated that you buy something because, like, I tend to buy stuff that's pretty expensive. And it's like, it doesn't work or it's defective or something. And you go back to the store and it's like, hey, this doesn't work. What the heck? And they're just like, all right, we'll take care of this. They come back to give you a new one or they give you your money back. And I'm just like, wow, to take care of that, these people really stand by what they stand by their product and stand by their service, that they're willing and able to, take care of this so well. So I guess this question is, what's time where a negative experience has actually wound up in such a way that you had more confidence in the product or the service than you had going into it? So yeah, sound off in the comments. We want to hear your stories, and we'll follow up on this next week. So, and with that, now comes the part of the show where we do the Ask a Geek questions, and we got a few questions here. And the first one here is for you, Kat, and this one comes from the Facebook, from Sarah, and she asks if you are a Nightwish fan, and if so, have you ever seen them live?
Oh, Sarah, we're both Nightwish fans. Gonzo is actually the one who introduced me to Nightwish. Way back when we were in community college together. I love Nightwish. We had done ages ago an entire episode on what was the name of Thomas's album about the life and times of Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, that's what it was called, The Life and Times of Scrooge.
Which is Thomas Halapainen's album about the comic book. I love Nightwish. I've never seen them live. They're actually coming here, I want to say at the end of the month or next month or so, but I don't have tickets. They're one of those bands where I love them, but I don't really like their live tracks that much. But I haven't heard whoever their current singer is live. So I might enjoy her more than, like past singers who I've heard live tracks for. I'd love to see them live. But here's the thing. I don't like concerts because I used to have a job way a long time ago where I I did security at concerts when I was in college, like concerts and sports games and stuff. And so now I just find them very irritating because they're loud and crowded and people can be douchebags. So I don't actually enjoy going to concerts. It sucks because there's so many bands who I would like to see live, but I just hate the concert atmosphere, which is terrible because concert atmospheres is really fun, just not for me. I don't like loud places. I like quiet things.
Yeah, now I have seen them live, and I've not only seen them live, I saw one of their last shows with their original lineup. Back in Tarsha.
You saw Tarsha? Oh,
yeah.
I'm so jealous.
And it was during their end of an era tour, just before she left the band, and that's putting it charitably.
Before she was kicked out.
Yeah. And they were playing in New York, and I went to go see that because I do enjoy heavy metal concerts because I'm a big metalhead, and it was a hell of a show, and I absolutely had a total blast. My one regret is that I didn't get any of those special earplugs that you're supposed to take to metal shows that, they reduce the noise level without, actually muddying up the sound. So my ears were ringing for a good solid week afterwards.
I think after I worked a Metallica concert.
But yeah, say again?
I was saying I don't like concerts, and part of the reason why is I worked a Metallica concert once, and they do give you earplugs there, but after you've been spat on for like a couple hours, that crowd is not my crowd.
Spat on by the band or spat on by the fans?
That's one band that I wish I had seen live while I still enjoyed concerts.
Okay.
At that time. Now I can afford it. I just wouldn't enjoy it.
But I have actually seen them live, and it was a hell of a show. I actually haven't listened to any of their albums since their latest singer. Because I got the first one that came out after Tarja left, and they brought in the second chick. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But then she left, and they got somebody else, and I haven't heard any of her stuff yet. So I need to go back and do some catch up.
Yeah, I loved the second singer, and then I always get her name confused with the singer from Within Temptation. So yeah.
So, that's a band that you introduced to me as sort of a payback for introducing you to Nightwish.
Hey, have you heard of Amaranth?
I have. I actually have a couple of their albums, yeah.
I enjoy them, even though they're a little more poppy and techno. I was listening to them on my commute home. Enjoyed them a lot.
Time over, I think it was MySpace at the time. Wow, that really dates us. You sent me a link to a video of Within Temptation's. I think it was Ice Queen, absolutely love that song. It's my favorite song from that band. But that music video, Jesus Christ! Like the singer does not know how to stay still for more than like half a second. She's just continuously moving and doing shit with her hands, and it gives me a headache. But anyway, thank you for your question, Sarah. And let's see here now. Okay, next question here. This one comes from Richard, and he's asking a question about Famiclone consoles. Specifically, he's asking me, what do I think of the Hyperkin Retron 5? Which, for those who don't know what that is, that's it's a Famiclone console, which is a console that is designed to play old cartridge-based games from like the Nintendo and Sega days. And this one in particular, it can play. I absolutely love it. It's the workhorse of my collection now because it can play NES, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Japanese Famicom and Super Famicom games, as well as Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. And if you buy a special adapter, you can also play Master System and Game Gear games. So I've started collecting for those systems as well. I love it because it outputs its picture in high def. It does HD, so I can actually get a clear picture instead of like the blurry mess that you get with composite on an HD television. This is one of those things that like the retro community is like working really hard to get around, because the problem is like those older consoles like the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, they weren't designed with 1080p or 4K in mind. So if you try and hook one of those older consoles up to a large HD television, the picture is just going to be a blurry mess. So I love the Retron 5 because it's actually one of the few Famiclones that actually has an HD output. I wouldn't recommend it if you were looking to get into playing homebrews, because it runs off of emulation. What it does is it actually, when you put the cartridge in, it copies the game image into RAM and then runs it off of that, which is great because that's less stress on your console. But because it only has a database of ROM images that it recognizes, and that's the list of the official release games, it won't play homebrews, which I'm trying to find a workaround. So if you're big into homebrew gaming, I wouldn't recommend it. But for the amount of money you're spending on the Retron 5, because it is pretty expensive, it's about $150. I mean, but you get what you pay for. It really is a workhorse console, and I absolutely love mine. So yeah. Now, someone told me that the company Retrobit, the company that makes the Super Retro Trio, they just put out their own HD console, which I haven't had a chance to play with yet. So once I'm able to get my greedy claws on one of those and try it out, I'll let you know how that is. I know that the retro bit stuff tends to be much cheaper than the Hyperkin stuff, so that might be an alternative to explore if you don't want to shell out 150 bones for a Retron. So yeah, okay, that's that question. And then let's see. Kat, it looks like we've been called out here. This question here is from Paula, and she asked. It's a two-part question. The first part of her question is, have you gotten a chance to watch Pop Team Epic yet?
Oh, didn't I answer that last week?
Yeah, she's actually asking if you've had a chance to since then.
No, because Jessica Jones came out, and I've been watching that. No, give me another week or two. I'm trying, but my life is Critical Role right now. So give me another week. I'm sorry. I swear I'm going to watch it.
Okay. All right. And the second part of the question, which is it's directed to both of us, but I guess I'll field it since I'm the only one who's watched still, is what's our favorite skit from Pop Team Epic? And oh man, that's a tough one because like there's so many that I really enjoy. I think I'd have to say that my favorite is the beef or chicken one. Because I feel like kind of a sense of elitism because I'm the only one who knows what the joke is supposed to be on that. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, the skit basically starts with Popco and Peep Me. They're on a plane, and the stewardess is going down the lane asking if they want the beef or chicken dinner. She's going, beef or chicken, and she gets to Popco and asks beef or chicken, and Popco just gets pissed off, and Peep Me's got to restrain her and say, okay, we'll have the beef. And everyone that I know who's seen that, they're just like, they don't get the joke, they don't get what's going on. And I actually know what is supposed to be going on because I've got another friend who speaks very fluent Japanese and is able to explain it to me. In the original Japanese, apparently, the way the question beef or chicken was worded could also be interpreted as sort of a challenge. Like, are you a man or a mouse? Are you courageous or are you a coward? And the joke is supposed to be that Popco is misinterpreting the question that way when she's really just being asked what she wants for dinner. So I like that skit in particular because I'm one of the few people I know who actually gets the joke on that. So it gives me a chance to put on my top hat and monocle and go, yes, quite.
Yeah.
Stereotypical British stuffiness. And let's see here. Well, Kat, you mentioned that you're watching Jessica Jones, so I guess I got to pull this question out here. And this one is from Laura, and she asks, actually, have we started watching Jessica Jones Season 2, and what do we think of it?
I've started it. I haven't finished it yet. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I think it maybe possibly drags a little more than the first season, but I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. The characters are they have such bad coping mechanisms, and it pains me to watch everybody make terrible, stupid decisions. But I feel like that's part of what makes Jessica Jones such an interesting show is that the characters are so imperfect. They're all just so human, including the superhuman characters. You know, everybody just makes bad choices pretty consistently, and that feels very Jessica Jonesy to me. There's, still continuing the trends of talking about things that, are important to women. And portraying different kinds of women in different kinds of ways, both for good and for ill. It's all around pretty excited to see where it goes.
Are you trying to avoid spoilers as you talk about this, or have you just not gotten that far into the show yet?
Yeah, I'm really not that far. I'm like 3 episodes in or so. I'm trying to watch it only with my roommate, so that we don't lose track of where she's at. Because what happens half the time is that she'll go run off to go to play D&D or something, and then I'll just blow through the rest of a series in one night, and then she's at because she has zero ability to remember how much she's seen of something.
Okay.
So I'm trying to save us some confusion by not watching ahead of her.
All righty. Okay, and then the next question here is, again, it's a two-parter, and this one comes from Danny. And he's asked, the first part of this question is, have we seen the Wreck-It Ralph 2 trailer, and what do we think about it? And I'm going to start by saying I am really effing excited about this movie. I love the first Wreck-It Ralph, and to be able to go back to those characters is just an absolute joy for me, and I can't wait to see this movie. So, Kat, what about you? Have you gotten a chance to see it?
Yeah, I saw it. I don't know quite how I feel about it yet, because my fear, and I do have a little bit of fear because I am very protective of my love of the Wreck-It Ralph film. My fear is that it's going to be making a lot of
meme jokes.
Not in jokes, because part of what made Wreck-It Ralph so much fun is there's a lot of nostalgia associated with it, and I'm afraid because it's like, okay, we're heading into the internet, that it's going to be a lot of present jokes that are only going to be, relevant to the year that this comes out, and it might, the jokes and stuff might not age as well because it's the internet and everything changes in like a day.
That is true. And then the second question that he asked, again pertaining to the trailer, is did we notice that the little girl at the end was baby Moana? And I'm going to say, dude, I thought for a while that I was going crazy because I thought I was the only one who noticed that. Like, I saw that trailer, and Kat will back me up if she's been following my Facebook on it. She'll say, I went, absolutely nuts because, dude, that's baby Moana. That little girl's baby Moana. And everyone I know is like, okay, fine, whatever. If you say so, we don't really believe you. And then I put up a side-by-side comparison, no, look at her. And they're like, yeah. Holy shit, he's actually right.
Gonzo's there with a cork board and newspaper clippings with strings between them, conspiracy level, this is Moana.
And that's how we can prove that Maui was responsible for the creation of Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
But no, I did notice that, and I thought that was I thought it was pretty cool, just a neat little Easter egg. Because I have faith in Disney. I don't want to think that they just recycled that character model just out of sheer laziness. So
yeah, I mean, every couple of movies, their style tends to shift, and then that style will look the same as, the next couple of movies. But yeah, I mean, it would be more fun if they left that as an Easter egg when you see the film and not in the trailer. Yeah.
So, I'll be disappointed if when the Blu-ray comes out, I'm listening to the director commentary and he just goes, "Yeah, that's baby Moana. We just put her in there because we were too lazy to come up with a new character model." And it's like, son of a bitch. A little bit of my childlike optimism is now gone forever from the world.
Well, they would never say that because Disney is all about preserving the magic. So they'll talk about how this was something out there for the fans.
Okay, and then I've gotten a lot of questions about the past couple of Nintendo Directs, which the people who sent those are in luck because that's going to be half of what I talk about today. So, and that leads us sort of into our discussion topic. But of course, as always, I want to thank everyone who sent in Ask a Geek questions to us. You can send them to us through the email at drgonzo@nerdofthethirdpower.com. We also occasionally troll through the YouTube comments looking for questions. So, yeah, get your questions in. You might get it read on the air. And so we didn't do this. This is normally our first show that we do for the year, but because we had Voltron come up, we had to give that priority. So, this episode, we're going to take a look back at sort of the things that kind of occurred while we were away, things that we missed and didn't get a chance to talk about for whatever reason or another, and also talk about stuff coming up in the year that we're really looking forward to. So I guess let's get the big one out of the way. Let's talk about Black Panther, because that just lit the world on fire for a while.
Yeah, Wakanda Forever, oh my god. It's definitely having a really amazing ripple effect. Its support is undiminished since its release. It's really exciting.
Oop, I almost dropped my keyboard there. Yeah, I positively enjoyed this film. I'm prepared to say that it's in my top 10 favorite Marvel movies so far. Definitely one of the better Marvel films that I've seen, and I absolutely was fascinated with the behind the scenes production stuff, because I was looking into how they design the costumes and the sets for Wakanda, and I was just fascinated to see and learn about the various African tribes and nations that they pulled inspiration from to design costuming and sets from. And it was just fascinating to learn all this. And I really got to give props to the production team on this film. They went whole hog on this one. There was nothing about half-ass. I was kind of scared going in that I wasn't going to like T'Challa, because I've read a bunch of the comics, and T'Challa in the comics can be a real fucking douche sometimes. There's a span of time in the late 90s and 2000s where it seemed like he was in competition with Tony Stark to see who could be the biggest prick. Doing this whole, why are you giving me orders? I am a king, and that makes me better than you. Why should I do anything with this? I am a king. So I was kind of afraid that I'd get some of that in this movie, but no, I really love the performances, and every character in that movie knocked it out of the park. I was a little disappointed that they did away with Andy Serkis so soon in the film. I hope they bring him back, because he was a really memorable character, and I'd really like to see him become a minor thorn in T'Challa's side.
Yeah, I was surprised that they offed him. Spoilers. That they offed Claw, because he seemed like he would be a good recurring villain. To just, be a thorn in the side, to just, come back in and make some trouble once in a while. And like a Crossbones, but with actual charisma. Because Claw was such a fun, crazy character. I highly enjoyed Martin Freeman as American Martin Freeman in the film. Martin Freeman plays the same character in every film, just an overwhelmed white guy. Or Hobbit, as you will. He's just, he never knows what's going on in any movie. He's just like, he's like the fish out of water. He's so great. There were so many excellent characters. Zuri, the princess, totally stole this entire film, in a phenomenal heist, Mission Impossible / Ocean's 11 heist of all of the film. She just stole it. She was so great. Oh, I want one. I want one of her in my life. I need her to be a real person who I can just hang out with sometimes.
So, but no, this is a great film, and I'm racking my brain trying to come up with a complaint, and I can't because I have to do it because I'm a critic, and that's what I got to do. But it's very hard for me to, anything I could come up with to say against this film would just be nitpicking, because it was a very solidly put together film. I guess the only real thing the only question mark that really hangs over the whole thing is, aren't half of the Avengers in Wakanda right now and hiding? And could T'Challa not have called him up and said, hey, dude, this guy Killmonger is, harsh to my mellow. Can you give me a hand with this guy?
I would pay so much money to hear him say that in that accent. Oh, that would be great. Oh gosh, I loved the film. I am a little wary of the impact that it is going to have on the rest of the Marvel universe, because Wakanda's level of technology is way above and beyond. I think I would say even what Tony Stark has.
Oh yeah, this would be like El Dorado suddenly appearing, and going, "Hey, what's up?"
Right, and because this the Marvel Cinematic Universe has a technology escalation problem. Maybe not a problem. I mean, Ultron happened, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how S.H.I.E.L.D. has all this super futuristic technology, and Tony Stark has this super futuristic technology. And the idea that you could keep that a secret and it not be used for weapons is like the most unrealistic thing about this film. And they even address that sort of thing, like scrapping Tony's stuff and turning it into weapons to use against him. But like it's a level of technology that is so inconsistent with the rest of the world, and the rest of the technology we see day to day, that it feels like maybe the world's technology should be trying to catch up a little bit, like overall on the whole. And it really hasn't. And I feel like we're moving towards a sci-fi direction in terms of the level of technology they're throwing on screen. But still calling itself present day. Like, I don't know. I feel like the jumps are pretty big.
Yeah, we might be approaching the hipsters in space moment.
Yeah, like we're gonna eventually hit critical mass for technology that the movies are allowed to introduce. Like eventually, it's going to not be believable anymore, I guess, is my worry. That it's so futuristic, mingling with regular everyday modern technology. It's just gonna not really mesh that well, I think, in a story term sense, in a setting sense.
Okay, all right. Yeah, well, we'll have to see what happens. But of course, the next big one that's coming up, we've actually got a few Marvel films coming out this year. We've got Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out later this year. Yes. Which I got to see a trailer for in front of my showing of Black Panther, and it reminded me that I still have yet to go back and see the original Ant-Man. So
what?
I know I'm a bad nerd.
What? Oh my god, you are the worst.
So
it's a long time coming. I don't know a whole lot about Wasp, but I know that my roommate has bitched to me for years. Like, for the longest time, that where the hell is Wasp? Because she's been an Avenger for so long. And, like, the Avengers has kind of been an almost exclusively boys-only club, with the exception of Black Widow. And it's a little bit weird that they didn't introduce Wasp earlier, when she's been, at least in, like, in cartoons and shit that we watched, she was a much more integral part. And they're only just now bringing her in.
So, all right, but yeah, that's something to look forward to. And then, of course, we got the big one. We've got Infinity War, which is coming out over the summer, and that's that's one we're going to have to get advanced screenings for, because that's going to be the big one this year. And like, I don't know, it's kind of like, what else can we really say about the fact that that's coming out? Because like, I think we've said, I think everyone has said everything that can be said about Infinity War until it actually comes out.
Nevertheless, you and I should take bets. Well, I won't bet with you because you'll probably win, but we could take bets on to see. You saw my performance at the Oscars pool this year, and that got you a little scared. No, but you're actually a gambling man, and I'm not. I don't gamble at all. But like, we could take bets on who's gonna die.
I don't think that'd be fair, because the thing is like, all we'd have to do would be look and see whose contracts are up for renewal and who's not renewing.
That's true.
So, a little bit of insider information there. Like,
we could speculate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cap is gonna kick it in this movie, though, because Chris Evans has been vocal about wanting to leave the MCU.
Yeah, and Sebastian Stan was signed up for so many films, and I think his contract was for like 8 films or something, and he's done like half of that. So chances, I think personally, Cap is going to die in this film, and we are going to see Bucky as Captain America.
Okay, and then I don't know about Robert Downey Jr. I mean, on the one hand, like you said a few times before, that he'd like to leave, but on the other hand, I mean, like, he has so much fun with it. I don't think he'll ever stop being Iron Man.
Yeah, I kind of wish he would, though, because they have done everything they can do with his character. There's nothing left to explore. He hasn't really grown or changed in the last few films that he's been in. He kind of is the cause of more problems than he causes all the problems that he later has to superhero around and solve. So I feel like it would serve the franchise to move RDJ out of the Iron Man position and hand the mantle over to someone else if they want to continue having Iron Man, which I assume they would. And either maybe
Don Cheadle's right there.
Yeah, either Don Cheadle or anyone else who's ever been Iron Man. I don't remember the name of the character, but the current Iron Man in the comics, the girl. That would be fun. Because I just want to see how she fits her hair under the helmet. I'm genuinely curious.
Okay. So those I think are there any other big movies coming out this year that we're really jazzed up about?
Something comes out, right?
I think Jurassic World.
Solo.
I don't know. I'm kind of confused on that. So I don't know. It's one of those things like I'll have to reserve judgment until I see it, but I can't muster up either excitement or ire in either direction. I don't know.
I am not excited for Solo. I am excited for Lando Calrissian. Like, I get the feeling they're gonna put a lot of him in that film because Donald Glover is just so damn charming and likable, and I think that was such good casting that they just need to spend a whole lot of the movie with Lando. So that's what I'm excited for. I don't really care about Han Solo's youth, his sordid past. It does look like it'll probably be a pretty entertaining film, but a lot of people are going to shit all over it no matter how good it is. So I'm not looking forward to Star Wars fans tearing each other apart another year in a row.
So, and then we've also got Jurassic World, which
yes.
I don't know. I'm that's not what I'm kind of on the fence on, because the thing is, like, I really feel like they've spoiled the whole movie in the trailers.
I feel like that isn't just the beginning of the film. That is the what I took away from it, because I don't think that's what the whole film is about. There's going to be some part that comes after the island, and I think this because they have already had every film be about here's dinosaurs on an island, and if they actually want to do something new, do something different, they have to get them off of an island. They have to have the dinosaurs interact with people in a new and different way, and they can't do that in their current setting. So I think they're going to rescue some of them, get them off the island. It's not going to end with them panning out to a ship in a sunset with a bunch of dinosaurs on Noah's Ark or anything like that. It's going to end with, okay, here's the dinosaurs. They're somewhere on a mainland. They're in some sort of zoo situation or
was it you?
Situation, and it's going to be fucked up from there.
Was it you that I had the conversation with about the one thing that would get me excited about Jurassic Park again? And I actually said dealing with dinosaurs on the mainland. Was that you I had that conversation with?
Maybe. I've been chatting with my coworkers who's also a big Jurassic Park fan. And when we've kind of talked about how they, in order to continue the franchise, they can't keep it on the same two islands. They have to get away from there and move them to the mainland in order for them to keep the franchise going.
Because I had a conversation with somebody, and the thing is that the thing that's always frustrated me about the film since the second one was they keep going back to the island. When if you think back to the original novel, there was actually a subplot in the books about animals actually getting off the island and causing trouble on the mainland. That in both cases, they just sort of dropped it and never picked it up again. And I was always really kind of irritated that none of the films ever picked that up and explored that. The idea that some animals had gotten off the island and were, on the mainland interacting, attacking people and farmers and livestock. So, I don't know if Jurassic World segues into that, having the dinosaurs on the mainland, then okay, yeah, that I can get excited for. But based on what we've seen in the trailers, I mean, I can't really muster up excitement for it because it looks like they're torching the franchise and running.
Well, I think they're already slated for another film, so I don't think they're torching the franchise and running. I think they're not spoiling the entire thing for the first time in trailer history. I think they're keeping it pretty close to the chest. I think there are snippets from the film that take place later in the film when the dinosaurs are loose somewhere mainland.
Okay. So, any other films that that we're really jazzed about?
Oh man, I really need to check and see what else is coming out this year.
Okay.
Let me see, because I feel like there's something I'm forgetting about. The Incredibles 2, Deadpool 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did get an Incredibles 2 trailer.
Yeah, which I don't care about the Incredibles that much. I'm weird. I think it's a good film. I just don't enjoy it as much as other people.
Nothing wrong with that. Deadpool 2, we know virtually nothing about what that's going to be about, except that it's going to have Cable and Domino in it. So I'm waiting to hear more about that before I start fanboy squeeing over it.
We could talk about Ready Player One and wait for the hell to rain molten rock down upon us for even daring to talk about it one way or the other.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't know. I'm of mixed feelings about Ready Player One because I've read the original book. So it's like, I know that, leaving aside, what the press and the politics around it are and what people think it says about fandom, and if people follow me on Facebook, I posted like an epic screed against one of the critics of the film's posters because he basically boiled it down to fandom is bad and you should feel bad for being part of one, but that's neither here nor there. Just talking about the book itself, like it's very hard for me to get into any of the characters because, as particularly the main character, because so little of the writing is devoted to the character's actual thoughts and emotions. It's just one pop culture reference after another. The only thing I can really describe it is, do you remember that episode of Star Trek TNG, Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra? Where they're dealing with the aliens who they speak entirely in metaphor from their literature. That's what Ready Player One feels like. It feels like a book written by those aliens. This is like when Luke Skywalker fought Darth Vader. This is like when Marty, was being told about the time machine from Doc, and I'm just like, oh great, don't tell me what it's like, tell me what it is.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. So, and the problem with that kind of writing style, aside from its own inherent issues with relatability to the character, is that you can't really translate it to the film. So the film, I feel like, is going to be, a game of spot the Easter egg. Like, oh, there's Tracer, there's the DeLorean, there's that guy's got Deckard's gun from Blade Runner. That guy over there is flying a Vic Viper. So I feel, based on what I've read of the production, I feel like they're putting a lot more effort into, inserting Easter eggs and actually telling a compelling story. But I could be wrong. Let's see what happens when the film comes out.
Yeah, I have a copy of the book that I got, but I haven't read it yet. And I've heard so many good things and so many bad things. It's really hard for me to I don't know. I'm just gonna read it and see how I feel about it. I don't know if I'm gonna go see the film or not because I feel like a lot of the references are gonna go over my head because I know it's not all gamer references, but it's gonna be a lot of gamer references. And I don't know how much of it I'm gonna enjoy if it's a film that appears to mostly just be Easter egg the film, if I don't get a majority of the Easter eggs.
Yeah. Let's see. There's definitely a game world that I do need to talk about, or else the gamer listeners will lynch me.
There are still a ton of movies if you want to talk about Venom, Dark Phoenix, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. Tons and tons and tons of movies coming out this year.
Yeah, we also have a limited timescape. It's already 7:20, right? So I mean, okay, well, I guess we could do another film. So what's a film that you in particular are particularly looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. I really, really liked Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander. I think I'm mostly interested in this because it's something that we have no idea what they're going to do. Much like Fantastic Beasts, it's not something we've read about in the Harry Potter books. It's just like like names that we know and little events that we kind of know something about. But, we don't have a book to compare a timeline to. We don't know exactly what happened based on J.K. Rowling's writings. So we're kind of going in this blind, like somebody who's never read the Harry Potter books, watching Harry Potter. So to me, it'll be exciting. I'm really, really confused about how they're going to keep relating Newt Scamander to the events of, I guess, what is going to turn into the First Wizarding War, and tying in, Dumbledore, who's going to be played by Jude Law, which is kind of exciting because I love Jude Law, and how they're going to make some guy whose entire shtick is that he runs around looking for magical creatures, and they're going to make that into a film about war. I mean, like...
Well, maybe he'll be chasing after Voldemort to get at Nagini.
Well, I mean apparently it's going to... A new trailer dropped today, but it might start answering some of the questions that I have, but it'll be really interesting. Voldemort is not going to be in these films. It's too soon. It's too soon for the First Wizarding War, because I think it's Dumbledore's generation, so that's a long time ago. So we might get some other really neat references out of it from the Harry Potter books, but it'll be interesting to see how far they take it.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, what about the anime and manga world? Anything coming down the pipe that you're really excited about?
I honestly haven't been paying too much attention to what's coming out later this year. My Hero season 3? I think it's season 3 that's going to come out, because that show is really good. I really like that show. It's as good as everyone says it is. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to a second season of One Punch Man, because that's it's One Punch Man. Can't wait.
I need to go back and finish watching the first season. I got like 3 episodes in, and I remember I got distracted and never went back to it.
Yeah, I haven't finished it either, honestly, because I did the same thing. I got a little bit further, but I did get distracted. But I feel like as an anime fan who actually, because I work for a convention, I work guest relations for an anime convention. I just booked his English voice actor at my convention, and I'm like, I should finish this before the con. Like, I'll feel really dumb if I don't at least watch a little bit of it, a little bit more of it. But it is a really interesting show, and I'll be interested to see where they go, especially because there's a bit of a gap between the time that they released the first season and the time they released the second season. And it's such a well-animated, just a really gorgeous show, considering all the ridiculousness that happens in it.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Let me double check, because there was a show that I really liked that I'm struggling to think of the name of. I remember. That I thought maybe had a second season coming out. But there is God, please let there be a second season. No, there's an OVA. Okay, well, that's not too bad. There's a show called Mob Psycho 100. Same studio, same people as One Punch Man. Really, really liked that show, and they're putting out an OVA this year that I'll be really interested in, because I actually liked that more than One Punch Man. Mm-hmm. And I was really, really hoping they would make more. And they actually are making a live action Mob Psycho 100. That I think would be such an insane show that I might have to actually watch it. If it becomes available on English Netflix, on American Netflix, then I desperately want to watch it, because it's a show that is going to make the insanity and special effects, like, it can be campy and ridiculous like a lot of the live action adaptations tend to be, and it'll work really, really, really well with the story and the characters. So I would definitely be interested in that one.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. We're kind of running a little short here, so I guess I gotta address my side here, or else I'll get lunch, because I've got literally like a pile of questions here asking me about this, and that's the last couple of Nintendo Directs that have come out, and what stuff out of there am I really excited for? And the big one, oh my god, the world got set on fire when this was revealed. Smash Brothers for the Nintendo Switch, and it's coming out this year. Oh my god, I don't think any of it, like, we all knew, it's one of those things, like, we all knew it was coming, we knew Nintendo was going to do it, but it's like we didn't expect it to drop, like, so soon into this year, and to find out that it's actually coming out this year, and it's not, they're not doing, like so many other companies are doing, where they'll release a trailer, like, 2 years before it's supposed to be coming out.
Kingdom Hearts!
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. Oh, yeah. We still don't even have an official release date on that. Although we have gotten a few more trailers for that. That's and it looks like Pixar is really stealing the show for this game, because they're doing Toy Story, they're doing Monsters Inc. Someone said that there's a rumor floating around that there might be a Cars level, which I don't know how that's going to work, if it's true.
Oh, no, thank you. Hard pass.
So. I'd love to see a Wreck-It Ralph level, though. That would be just meta as hell.
Oh god, that would be so meta. Oh my god, can you imagine, like, in the part where Wreck-It Ralph, where somebody had, like, tagged on the subway wall, Aerith lives?
And I should have Aerith see that and go, what's that all about?
Right, like, that would be so terrible. Sephiroth walks by, the fuck? I thought I killed her.
and maybe that might, if they actually go to the Game Central station, we might get to see some other lesser some other Square characters that have been around for a while, like Chrono from Chrono Trigger.
Yes. Yes.
So, but yeah, we're getting a Toy Story level. We're getting a Monsters Inc. level. I think a Wreck-It Ralph level would be awesome. That would be incredible. But yeah, like, if Square Enix doesn't put this game out this year, like, that's it. There's going to be rioting in the streets. Like, especially with all the info that they've dropped in the last year. Like, we're still pissed off that we haven't gotten the promised Final Fantasy VII remake. Which apparently they're now hiring, team members for. But, like, the reason why we're not so up in arms is because we know virtually nothing about it. We don't know what they're doing with it. But Kingdom Hearts, you're clearly showing us a nearly finished product, so you're running out of excuses here, Squeenix.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. I've never played it, but my roommate has been like, hey, I want you to watch me do a playthrough of this so that you can get the story, so that I have someone to fangirl about this with. So I've watched her play all of the games that are on a console, and I really, really enjoyed it, especially because I didn't have to play the stupid card game system thing.
Oh, Chain of Memories?
Chain of Memories, because that looked awful and stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm ready for another game. I'm ready for more, literally any one of these characters. Just hurry up.
Let's see. Other stuff that I'm really excited for. I've already picked up. I've already got my my copy of Bayonetta 2 for the Switch. Really enjoying that because I missed out on that on the Wii U. I've got SNK Heroines on pre-order. It's a sort of a fan service fighter, so looking forward to that. Dark Souls on the Switch, I think it's an interesting choice. I'm not going to really, I don't think I'll pick that up myself because I'm not a huge Dark Souls fan, but like, I don't know. I see there being once that game comes out with its infamous difficulty, I see there being now an epidemic of people hurling their Switches across the rooms and breaking them. Because damn, that game is not forgiving. But yeah, and then of course the other big thing that kind of lit the world on fire when Nintendo revealed it was that Nintendo Labo thing, the cardboard like building kits.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing those go around.
And I just like I look at that and I feel nothing but puzzlement. I'm just like, what? Oh, okay, why? This is words literally fail me here. There's nothing I can say to it because I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got the sense that it was way more in depth than people were giving credit for, but I couldn't quite wrap my head around what it's meant to be exactly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Smash Brothers on the Switch. That's the big one for me. That's my holy grail for this year. The only other things that I could possibly ask for out of this year from Nintendo are give us the virtual console on the Switch and have it include GameCube games. And the other one is announce a new Pokemon game. We know one is coming. We know you're working on it. Just give it to us. We want it. We have a mighty need.
Do you think maybe they're just saving it for E3?
You know, before I started following these Nintendo Directs, I would have said yes. But then they dropped Smash Brothers during the Nintendo Direct, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess all bets are off now. Actually, there's a meme that's been floating around. You know how the whole Simpsons steamed ham things has become the next big mini meme?
No.
There's been well, there's been this whole it's the joke basically centers around Principal Skinner convincing Superintendent Chalmers that he has the Aurora Borealis in his kitchen when his kitchen is really just on fire. So there's a meme going around where it's a screen cap of that episode, and the fire is substituted with the Smash Brothers logo, and it's like, good Lord, Seymour, what's going on in there? Smash Brothers for the Switch? Smash Brothers for the Switch. At this time of year, at this time of day, outside of an E3 and localized entirely in a Nintendo Direct. Yes. Can I see gameplay footage? No. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I haven't been the Nintendo Directs prior to the last couple real closely, but I'm gonna have to start doing that because apparently that's how Nintendo is doing the lion's share of their announcements now, which I think is really cool that they're actually talking directly to the consumers instead of relying on third parties like, the press or waiting for junkets like E3. They're actually able to come out and keep people excited throughout the whole year as opposed to just these spikes twice a year at E3 and PAX.
Do you think that means that they're not going to have anything good at E3, or that maybe they have something so incredible saved up for E3? Because can it get more epic than what they've already dropped? I mean, it broke the internet.
I think it's more likely that they're going to have more of what we've already seen at E3, like just more information on stuff that they've already told us about. Because given the way the internet reacted to the Smash Brothers announcement, if they have something more epic than that that they're saving up for E3, that's just going to be the apocalypse. And the only thing that I can think of that it could possibly be would be the new Pokemon game. Which, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. It'll be something to see. But anyway, that's about all the time that we have. Clear, based on what we've talked about tonight, we've got a busy year ahead of us. Like our summer schedule is pretty much written itself already.
Yeah, sorry guys in advance. You're gonna see a lot of episodes talking about movies, like us reviewing movies. We know in the past we've done it, and we haven't really enjoyed having a whole year that's 90% movie and TV reviews, but there's so much good stuff coming out that's gonna be a lot of the episodes this year.
Yep. So, which, I mean, but again, given the staffing shakeups, that probably works in our favor because, we at least know for every topic everyone will be able to contribute.
Yes.
But yeah, that's about all the time that we have for this week. Thank you as always for tuning in. We will see you next week. Thank you as always for tuning in. I'm Dr. Gonzo.
I'm the cat.
We'll see you next week. Taka, play us out.